never mentioned this before. In fact, I have many, many times, but how much I hate and loathe news and news media and just anything like that. First of all, my suggestion is to read the book called Stop Reading the News, and it'll make my position on news make a lot more sense if it doesn't already. Anyway, in a nutshell, this is why I try to avoid news as much as possible. It's not possible to completely not know what's going on in the world, but as much as possible I try to avoid it, or at least getting sucked into it. So here's how it works. I'll tell you how it works. News, be it legacy media, influencers, gossip websites, just anything that relies on clicks and likes and attention, basically. Anything that relies on attention. Be it left, right, center, libertarian, any sort of media that relies on attention does this. So, first thing, they are always looking for something, some event, some tweet, something that will outrage their base. So, leftist media is looking for the latest crazy thing that Trump said. Right-wing media is looking for, the latest thing that Newsom or California did. Anything that will cause the feeling of outrage in their viewership. Because as humans, we are 7 times, I think that's the number, 7 times more reactive to negative stimuli than positive stimuli. So in order to get attention, you need to create negative feelings. So first of all, news is literally trying to make you feel bad. They're trying to make you feel outrage, anger, all that stuff. So your favorite news media personality is trying to make your life worse. Just saying, they're trying to make your life worse. They're trying to make you feel bad because that's what gets attention. So they focus on thing A. Thing A pisses you off. Now, if thing A pisses off enough people, then the media really gets a payday, because that's when people start, tweeting about thing A, or protesting thing A, or making videos about thing A, and, stoking the fire of negative emotion. Now, if thing A gets enough steam where people are actually showing up real live and in person and protesting or rioting or, doing all the stupid shit that pissed off people do, then the news media, influencers, gossip websites can show up in full force, because now you've got actual, real conflict. And this escalates, obviously, an already escalated situation, because now both sides can take part in the escalation. Whether the initial reaction was designed to fuel hate for the left or hate for the right, once you've got on the ground real conflict, now both sides can profit off of this, because now both sides can come down to wherever, shit's popping off, and bust out the cameras and film either one side or the other side, because conflict means both sides. They'll be like, oh, this person attacked this person, and their base gets fired up, and then, oh no, but this person attacked this person, and then the other base is fired up, and it's just, which creates more attention, which creates profits for whatever YouTuber or news station is broadcasting the conflict. And by broadcasting the conflict, you bring more people into it and fire more people up. And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if shit escalate, they have their goal is to escalate it as far as possible, as fast as possible. And the as fast as possible is important too, because once again, going back to human nature, we get bored easily. If you tell us or show us the same conflict for, we're going to be super fired up about it for a few days, and then our emotions for the same thing that's going on start to wane. So we're giving it less and less of our attention. So the goal is to escalate as fast and to as high a level as possible before our attention, because they're in the business of attention, starts to wane. And there may actually be nothing changed with the conflict or with the situation, but eventually, because we're humans, our interest will peter out. And like I've said, maybe nothing has changed with the situation. It's just our interest in it that never lasts forever. And then they got to go find something new to broadcast and get people fired up about. And it's just this continual cycle of finding something to be outraged about, fueling outrage, creating conflict, escalating conflict, and then looking for something new to be outraged about. And that is the news cycle. I don't give a shit what they teach in journalism school. That's the real news cycle these days. So that is why I can't stand news and try to avoid it, because I like my inner peace and I try to keep it that way. I keep it cool.